Hello, my name is Liv, and welcome to Val-YOU, a podcast dedicated to women's advocacy. This episode will be discussing about saying no and why and how it's not always easy. This episode will also include a story of my own experience with the subject. So let's talk about this. Saying no is not always easy, especially if you fear what the person you're saying no to could do to you if you do say no to them. However, saying yes and caving into their desires is the absolute last thing you want to do, because it'll suck you into this trap, and the deeper you go, the harder it is to come out of. I read something on Twitter about this matter, and they were saying about how when women say no, they'll be treated badly, such as they'll have mean things said to them, they'll have more pressure put on them, they'll be bullied, they'll be raped, and that's understandable as to why a woman would be afraid of saying no to someone. And I'm here to tell you, if you feel like you could be at harm from this person, get help immediately. Tell a loved one, tell an adult, a guardian, a parent, a teacher, and if you have to, call the cops. There's no shame in getting any type of help, and don't let anybody try to tell you otherwise, because it's perfectly okay. The ultimate thing you want to do is not give in to their desires. In the end, it will be worth it. Trust me. And I know this by experience. And now, here's my story. I was in the 8th grade, and I was 13 years old. There was a boy who I really liked, and he gave me the signs that he liked me back. And everything was going okay at first. We got along well, we were friends, because he was friends of my friends. And yeah, things were going fine at first. A month after all this started, I found out he was into something that got me a little concerned. And so I got advice from other people, and after getting their advice, I kind of kept in mind to kind of tread cautiously around him, and, because of this thing he was into, it could have possibly meant that he only wanted me for one thing. That's why I was, starting to be a little cautious. And a few months later, I turned out to be right, because he asked me the dreaded question. And I actually didn't answer him because I was so taken aback. So I kind of just looked at him with this shocked expression on my face. But he was dead serious apparently, because he would joke around about, sexual stuff a lot. And when he got that reaction out of me, he would laugh. But when he got that reaction, when he asked me for, he continued to stare at me with this straight face. He didn't burst out laughing or nothing. And so afterwards, he started asking me to dance, and I knew his true colors at this point, because obviously I knew at that point he blatantly said that he wanted to have sex with me. So I was like, no, because I know what you're after me for. And he didn't give up. He asked me to dance a total of 4 times, and then after 4 times, he gave up finally. And then 2 weeks after I rejected him for the final time, he announced to my first period class, because we had that class together, that he got a new girlfriend as of the night before. And I'm like, wow. So I think he just wanted a girlfriend, and I think I was I don't know, the first person or something to capture his interest. But then I guess, since I kept rejecting him, I guess it finally got through his head, and he just found someone else just like that. And I was like, wow, dude, good for you. And I don't know why, but I never thought of telling his girlfriend how he was like. And I think it's because somewhere in the back of my mind, I was I had already gone through so much that school year, especially with the second semester, that I kind of just didn't want to start anything else. So I think deep down I was just hoping that his true colors would show and she would do the right thing and break up with him. But here's where his true colors really started showing. After I rejected him for the final time and he got his new girlfriend, he started saying some not so nice stuff to me. And like I said, we were friends and we got along well before this all happened. So, it was quite a change. And he would say some really like perverse stuff to me, and I didn't like it, and I think he could probably tell, but of course I didn't stop him from doing it. He was just gross.
At one point, he even accused me of doing the things that he was doing. Like, he was saying, "Oh, stop trying to get into people's pants." And I was like, "That's what you're doing." And he's all like, "What?" As if I was crazy or if I was making stuff up. And I'm like, "No, dude, this is all you."
But one day it got really bad. The bullying got really bad. And I still remember the date that this happened. It was May 25th. And I made a joke, and I had made this joke before, and he was okay with it, and so I made it again because I figured, he would be okay with it again. But apparently he wasn't, and he got like serious about it all of a sudden. So I was like, whoa, like, okay, like, my bad. I just was not expecting that reaction. I wasn't expecting him to react that way, so that's why I made that joke. But he just he started like pretending to cut his arm with his fingers, like, self-harm, and then he said, "Do that to yourself," and he was telling me to drink bleach and to kill myself and to hang myself. And my toxic ex-best friend at the time witnessed that too, and she was like jeering along with him, but she was toxic, like I said, so what do you expect? Ugh. But yeah, he was saying like, drink bleach, it gives you energy, and she's like, yeah, it gives you energy. My best friend, she was the one agreeing, and I was like, wow. And I even started like crying a little bit, and I think he got up to go throw something away, and when he turned back around, he like saw that I was like crying, and he kind of just like froze up. And I looked up at him and noticed he was looking at me, and he's like, "You good?" And I'm just like, "Yeah," or I nodded or whatever. But it's like, come on, dude. So afterwards, I was like, this has gone too far. Like, I gotta do something about this. So the next day, when recess started, I was still in the hallways, and I saw our principal, and so I went over to him, and I actually never got the chance to go into detail about what this guy was saying to me, but I just said like, hey, like, so and so has been saying not so nice stuff to me, so I was like just saying like, can you go talk to him? And he was like, yeah. So he literally straight up just went outside, found him, and oh yeah, and when I told him, he was like, "Do you want me to tell him to like stop talking to you?" And I was like, "Yes, because this is getting too far now." So yeah, he straight up just went out into the playground or whatever, and yeah, I kind of like saw from the window, and then I didn't stay there because I was like, I don't know, I felt too awkward watching it. It's not like they could see me or anything because I was pretty far back, but I was like, okay, well, it's taken care of now. But of course, that didn't stop him from taking one final jab at me 1 week later, or 1.5 weeks later, when I was trying to get my toxic ex-best friend's attention, and I was basically repeatedly calling her name, and then he's like saying like, no one cares. And then I looked at him, and he's like, no one cares about what you have to say. And then he was saying like, raise your hand if you care about what Liv has to say, and like, nobody raised their hand because nobody even heard him. And he's like, see, nobody's raising their hand, not even you're raising your hand, like, you don't even care what you have to say. And like, he saw my reaction that I looked kind of upset, and then he said something like, oh yeah, now you're gonna cry, and be like, I need help, or something like that. And I was just like, come on, dude, you're just awful. And he even like acknowledged, like, probably, I think it was some point before that happened, that he got in trouble He was referring to when I told the principal on him. But yeah, I'm like, dude, you bullying me is not gonna like get me to give you what you want, dude. Like, I'm not, no matter what you say to me. In fact, it actually made me glad that I rejected him, because now I know how he really is. He was a sleazebag, and I'm glad that I didn't waste my time with him. So, in conclusion, I dodged a bullet there. And this connects to my points that I was making at the beginning of this, because, like, I was bullied because I didn't give this guy what he wanted, and I still didn't give in. You know, I took action and everything. I told somebody, and I encourage you, if you're going through this, or you might go through this in the future, to never give in to peer pressure, because it's the last thing you want to do. Like I said, it gets you into this trap, and if you compromise your values, it's going to chip at your self-esteem and your self-value, and it just pulls you into this never-ending cycle, this never-ending trap, and the deeper you go, the harder it is to break out with. So please do not cave in to anybody's desires if you're not comfortable. Please don't. And I hope my story has helped or inspired somebody in some way. I mean, if this podcast is able to help or save at least one person, it's more than worth it. This is what I'm here for. Yeah, so that's basically it. Just a reminder that requests are still open, so if there's something you want me to talk about in a future episode, let me know down below in the comments. And if you feel like you need somebody to talk to, I'm always here to talk, or if you need any advice, I'm here to give advice. I may not always know what to say, but I'm here to listen and give advice if I can. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.